Hello there. If you are Libra's sun, moon, and rising sign, welcome to the month of December 2025. Work-related matters, career flow, financial flow look like they're happening for you, as well as possibly some significant travel during that month. We're going to talk about what that looks like for you and break it down week by week for the month of December. And you can listen for your sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign. Your sun is career-related, purpose-related matters quite often, and leadership energy. Your moon is your home and home base and where you live, and your avatar in the simulation of the game of life is, of course, your rising sign. And so in that sense, all three can be useful to listen to and give it a try, see what you think. Every time I do this, I have to explain the differences. I think all of them are useful, so try each one and see what suits you the best. One of the things I want you to know, the most important thing I want you to know about the energy of this month is that it's going to be moving forward where things were stuck in the month of November. This is true for everyone. We had 5 retrograde planets in November. We're only going to have 2 in the month of December. In fact, it was crazy bad with Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune all retrograded in November. It's as if everybody was trying to get something to finish, to complete, to accomplish, to move forward. And it's like, have you ever tried to drive your car with the parking brake on? It had that feeling. And so all the indeterminate, uncertain things that we can't quite figure out, including Three Eye Atlas or who actually killed Charlie Kirk. Those things might not be true. We might know the answers in December because things are going forward at last. In your own life, that's true. And I'm excited to share with you. Even Neptune goes direct on December the 10th. And so let's get the story on the road, the show on the road. By the way, are you new to my channel? Then I didn't say hi, did I? My name is Lori Lothian. I am a Western tropical zodiac astrologer of many years, and I'm using whole sign houses as we all are on YouTube. We have to pretend whole sign houses are what we're using, but it is a traditional system. Once you go whole sign, you never go back. Check my description box below. I have a video on how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Now, the other thing I want you to know, Libra, is that I'm sharing at the beginning of my videos, because I will forget otherwise, that my 2025 6 individual all signs bundles are now available. That means basically not individual, but all signs. You're going to get 12 times 2 hours, 24 hours of video content, 2 hours plus for each sign, plus a PDF guidebook for the year ahead. If you want to buy that before December 1st, that is my pre-sale price that was been running all month here in November. And it helps me raise funds for my employees to help me on my channel, teaching staff, helps me buy equipment like this MacBook Pro that's now working. It also helps me create a scholarship fund, so needs-based tuition for students trying to study with me. And then they have a discount because I've got a fund to support that. So if you want to help the channel grow and help me help other people learn astrology, please think of buying the product before December 1st. It's delivered to your inbox then. And if you missed that deadline, no worries. By January 1st, you can still get the product for $55. In December, I'll allow for the sale of individual signs. Just get your Aries, get your Capricorn. Okay. However, it'll be $33 a sign, so it's a better deal to get the bundle. And all prices go to the regular pricing in January. Okay, so there you go. There's my sales pitch. My channel is in December going to start up a members only area for live streams on Saturdays. If you want to join me on Saturday live streams with just members, then check below and maybe join my channel membership. Let's get started and talk about the sky. Well, the first thing I need you to see in this beautiful sky, Libra, is that you are going to face the beginning of the month, and we're going to break it down week by week. You can slow my speed down if I'm talking too fast. We're going to start off the beginning of the month, and you're going to notice that we have the Jupiter trine Saturn energy blessing your work, your career, your job, your reputation. Now, this energy of Jupiter at the top of your sky retrograde as of November the 11th means that you're also going back to deepen your bounty or to deepen what it is you want to accomplish in that career. And so some of the outer splashy big success that you might have been experiencing in the months before November 11th, the end of June, may not have as much woo-woo, yay, yay, me, but this is a deeper, truer way of fleshing out how success really feels and looks to you. All that glitters is not gold. Sometimes chasing power, wealth, and fame is Jupiter exalted. And now you're like, okay, the dust is settling. What is it you really want? what do you really truly value? And as Jupiter goes retrograde here, he gets a beautiful support or assist from Saturn trining him in the 6th house. This can really stabilize the pace at which you've been working, especially if you've been a workaholic for the last few months. Saturn is direct after the 3rd week of November, so you're now more sensible and you're doing things in a more forward direction at a pace that works for you at your work and job stuff. That's what it looks like to me. However, some of you may change your home and move to another place, or something like that, or decide that you're going to rent a property as a landlord or lease a property as a tenant as a result of this sky. And you might see that becoming available as an option in the 1st week of December. As when you move, you might find the property or secure the rental lease, etc. I'm not sure. It could be Airbnb style as well, based on where Mercury is. Maybe you're just going to travel and rent an Airbnb. Now, the 1st week of December could be booking it or taking the trip. You'll notice in the 1st week of December as well, Mercury is in your 2nd house of money, earnings, possessions, and beginning to really flow to that Jupiter Saturn. We'll get to that in a bit. It gets exact later on. This does bring you a lot of ease and flow financially regarding money, but at a pace that's sustainable. Earnings and resources at a pace that's sustainable and wise. On December the 1st to the 3rd, and Libras, you have a problem with work-life balance. All of you do. The teeter-totter of the scales that you are never seems to, it's always striving for the middle way here. So this is going to be helpful for you in December to find more balance in the pace of work. On December 1st to the 3rd, Venus sextiles Pluto. And she is in Sagittarius, where she will be, by the way, all through basically the month until the 24th, the day before Christmas. So she talks to Pluto. Sagittarius is your 3rd house. Travel, writing, communicating, selling, marketing, teaching and learning, local environment, neighbors, neighborhood, siblings, cousins, uncles, aunts, siblings especially. So Venus is flowing to Pluto in the 5th house. It's good for your entrepreneurial, creative, artistic types. It's good for your social media landscape. It could really lift you up there. But if you happen to be a single Libra looking for love, then it could bring a new, powerful, and transformative love story into your life because you are in a travel environment. But in this kind of chart, it's tricky. It could be online dating, bumping to someone at the gas station, local hood, but it could initiate a very profound and transformative new love relationship during her transit through your 3rd house, but especially the beginning, which is the first 3 or 4 days of December. You may travel with a romantic partner for leisure and enjoyment at the same time, the first 3 or 4 days of December, and you might even potentially travel with a sibling or for a sibling or to see a sibling or something like that. Now, as you look at the next narrative in our story, it is going to be that we have a full moon in Gemini, and it's going to be on the 4th of the month. The moon will be bright and full and lighting up our sky in Gemini right up here. This is coming off like a May, June kind of time frame, new beginning, fresh start, new moon, regarding matters of pilgrimages, foreign travel, visas, passports, foreign people, academic settings, judges in court matters. These are things that may have been on your mind or in your thoughts, or figuring something out to start fresh there. Some of you who want to go to university or college, this is like a fulfillment of that promise. The fulfilling energy of the moon is also reflecting back at itself, a Mars-Venus energy across the way. And it definitely could invite travel, that you may look at this as a new plan for some significant travel that you're going to be hatching in the 2 weeks that follows this moon. So keep that in mind, right? Possibly with the sun ruling your 11th house of career gains, or maybe travel or educational opportunities related to your career that are going to be emerging. So career-related travel and opportunities for learning connected to your career may come into place, or if you're teaching, opportunities for teaching. Now, this moon opens up all of those things as a potential yes, you on the 4th of the month. But don't forget, even though you'll see evidence for what I'm saying within 2 weeks to 3 weeks after the moon, or even closer to it, it will unfold as a theme over the course of 6 whole months, right? It's not a flash in the pan. And if you have a relationship that you're in, a current long-term love relationship, then it could have some indications here for moving that relationship to the next level, a marriage, engagements, proposals, and that kind of thing. If you're not with someone, again, meeting a new person and healing a chironic wound about love relationships because you're traveling, you're educating, you're doing all the things I mentioned, you're teaching, you're learning, right? Or you're joining a spiritual community. All right. Now, on December 5th to the 7th, and then the 7th to the 9th. So December 5, 7, and then December 7th, 9th, really two stories are happening in concert with each other. Mercury will trine Jupiter and Mercury will trine Saturn. Let's take a look at it. Mercury is moving through Scorpio. Now, Mercury was retrograde, as you might remember, in the month of November. And so now he's in direct motion, having turned around, having pivoted, okay, and is now moving, forward through Scorpio. He went back to 20 Scorpio. And then on the last day of November, he pivoted direct motion. And as he's going direct, he is going to talk to Jupiter. And Jupiter's happy to receive a communication because it's going to impact career. It's going to impact your money and career, information, contracts, agreements, negotiations that then after the first initiation on the 5th to the 7th, then it becomes real and concrete on the 7th to the 9th. So it's like the 5th to the 9th of the month, something's going on that looks like a contractual agreement about work, career, and money and resources. Only other way it could work is a massive dietary change, habit of style, especially releasing an addiction and getting some kind of guru support or some kind of wise, authoritative teacher helping you. Otherwise, it's very much about work and career and money and earnings. And, because Saturn is direct, whatever opportunity arises, it's going to be very stable. It's going to be very much a longer game vibe. You won't just pick up like a side hustle at Starbucks. You're going to get a new job or some new position within the company. It's going to last a long time, give you greater authority and success. But because Jupiter's retrograde, there's a connection to your past already. Like maybe this was something that was dangled in front of you or you thought of doing in your career or a possibility that was in the past sometime after June, but it never really emerged. And now it's in front of you again. And this time you have more wisdom around what you really want. And you're ready to say, yeah, I love that promotion, raise, acceleration, new position. If you're an entrepreneur, putting myself in a different direction that really serves me and I'm not working so hard. But you have Mercury. There's a negotiation, there's discussions, there's contracts to get this thing to happen. And you're feeling all that energy picking up. As I said, December 5 to 9 or so, or December 5th to 10th. On December 8th and 9th, Mars is going to square Saturn, which can be frustration or difficulty of some sort. Mars is very fired up, right? He's in the sign of fire. Take a look. And he's going to be having a gnarly conversation with Saturn. Saturn is realistic. Saturn is conservative. Saturn is sensible here. Saturn is giving the lasting wise result in your work and health. And Mars squares, be careful around accidents. Mars rules accidents. Sag is your hips and Pisces is your feet. So this would be like, don't go skiing down a hill and hurt both your feet and your hips. This is a tough time. If you want to be careful, I would, especially driving. Road trips and cars belong to the third house, travel accidents. So I'm warning you now, I'm giving you a heads up to be really careful and super alert, especially if you're driving between December 8th and 9th when this square is occurring. Otherwise, there's some frustration going on between your work, right, and your travel plans. Your domestic, private, your local life and what you're doing in the local environment. And by the way, you could be working out a lot here with Mars and Sagittarius. You might be really kicking it, really going for it, really working and doing the pump on the iron or something, or jogging a lot. So that's a good thing to have Mars down here, right? I wouldn't complain, but you might find that there is something frustrating you. And it may be a work obligation. It may be a situation with a rental property. It may be a problem with a pet. I don't know. Something is frustrating you here. Could be some debts that are owed to you. It's getting in the way of the things you want to do that bring pleasure, like the bars, the restaurants, the clubs, the fun things you want to do with Venus in your third house. And Mars is also pushing for that. But Saturn says, I don't think so. Be careful here. Listen to Saturn's wisdom in your sixth house. All right. Don't push and shove your way into something that's not right for you on December 8th and 9th. On December the 10th, we see that Mercury opposes Uranus, just like he did on November the 19th. So if you can go back to the 19th and 20th, you're going to find that there's some similar stories happening as December 10th. So December 9th, 10th, and 11th are like November 18, 19, 20, 20th. It is an opposition to Uranus. What does it mean? It means there's something going on that unexpectedly surprises or comes your way financially. This is not normally looking like a job opportunity unless it's a giant severance package or sign-on bonus, okay? Then otherwise it's kind of like, okay, is that an inheritance? Is that a investment that takes off in the stock market? What the heck is that? Shock and awe in the 8th house of chunky money. Saturn is like an elder in the house of sickness. It rules your family of origin. Maybe a very old, like grandparent or very old parent could be on the cusp of passing under the sky, especially with the south node in the house of hospitals. And if that's the case, there may be a shocking financial surprise coming your way. That helps you also alleviate debt if you have it, but just coming your way, because you realize, okay, you were put in granddad's or grandma's will or something like that, or some elder's will. And there you go. That's what you could have happening off of this as well. But there's a bit of a jolt in your finances here, but it's direct motion. Everybody's moving forward. So it will help propel you forward in life in a positive manner. If you want to go back and try to remember what you were up to during that third week, that November 19th-ish timeframe, you might have had a sort of a clue about what this is. It might have similar vibes, not exactly the same, of course, but close enough. Close enough. On secrets revealed, okay, I forgot about that. Maybe some secrets could be revealed, but particularly around your children. So if children are holding secrets and you have secrets, Pluto, some secrets revealed, but more or less, it looks like everything else I said first. I wouldn't put secrets and children at the forefront. Mars then squares Neptune, who's waiting in line for some attention. So after we see the 10th and that square, we see roughly the 13th to the 15th or so. And 13th, what am I talking about? Yeah, sorry, I have to jump ahead. Let's go back to the 10th. Yeah. And now we're moving forward from the 10th to the 13th to the 15th. From the 13th to the 15th, Mercury has now moved into Sagittarius. And by the way, you'll see a bunch of people in Sagittarius, right? Guys, this is a travel house. So now that Mercury's joining the fray, I mean, I can see some of you definitely traveling after the 12th of the month. Just keep in mind that Mercury will be in Sag from December the 12th, right? All the way through until January 1st. So now you've got a lot of socializing with the neighbors in the neighborhood and their local friends and doing fun things and maybe traveling, especially domestically. And of course, it is Christmas, and that makes sense that you might be traveling from December 12th to January 1st. And Mercury protects you on the road, protector of travelers and on the road. Yeah, he's not in great shape. Be careful about expenses and travel that you haven't really considered how much it might cost you. That's the thing to think about here. But anyway, going back to the story, where I was focused on for you at this time was that Mercury will come into just before he comes into, let me get that. He got Dillard to shock and awe to you. And then Mars is squaring Neptune on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. So Mars was squaring Saturn. That was that frustration. Now Neptune. Neptune can confuse us, and Neptune's direct after the 10th of the month. So when he's retrograde, he's really more clear-eyed and less obfuscating in our personal lives. But now he's going direct. Let's see how that works, because it's like, if you have any rose-colored glasses on about your health, your work, your pets, your rental contracts and agreements for properties, and you're in any way unsure because you're uncertain, confused, or deluded, then Mars is usually like the defogger on the windshield, and he helps you see clearly by cutting away the miasma or the fog that keeps the things uncertain or unclear here. Squares will demand some action as well. Is it a good idea? Mars decides to take that trip after all. Is it a good idea to take that job after all? Is it a good idea to get that pet after all? So you're going to be clearing something here. Like this is like, say you were to get a rescue animal. Now you're at the final decision point and you're looking at the fact that it's got like liver problems on the blood work. Do you want to inherit that bill that's going to come later on? So there's some clearing of realism into your story here. And, you know, it started off on the 8th and 9th, and it just gets more intense on the 13th to the 15th. You could be traveling to see an elder who's ailing, and that's another who's got sickness, and that's another story. On the road to see, you know, the ailing great grandparent or something. That's a possibility as well. And it's just the energy is uncertain or confusing whether you should take the trip or something along those lines, or you have to make an executive decision to go on that journey. And, you know, energetically, just think about it this way. 6th house and 3rd house are Caden houses. They're falling away from power. In astrology, we say they're falling away from the power spots. Is there any chance that you could be really fired up about some travel opportunity, but you're really thinking twice about it because it's not realistic in your life at this time? Work obligations are there. Debt obligations are there, and you may reconsider travel plans December 13th to the 15th, and you would have begun that reconsideration as early as December 9th. Mars moves into Capricorn on December the 15th, when he's going to be in Capricorn for quite a long time. Oh my gosh, all the way through to January 23rd. He's going to make some major changes in your life. I'll get to that near the end of this video because it's a game-changing, rare time in your reality when Mars is down here. It's not a normal Mars transit, so it's very exciting for you. But he's in the 4th house, and that normally means travel away from home, or it means fighting in the home, or renovating and constructing and fixing the home, right? Repairing, fixing the home. And sometimes it's just domestic arguing in the home, now fighting in the home. And if that's going to happen, and it is a Christmas season, that could probably be the typical Christmas visits with the relatives. Be careful. December the 15th through the end of the month is going to be that intensity there. When we move forward into the story, though, you'll notice that the whole second half of the month is fraught with tension, whereas the first half feels much easier. As we go into December, the roughly 16th and 17th, the sun will come into a very difficult square to Saturn. That's really tight on the 16th and 17th, and gets then a second wave on the 20th and 21st as the sun squares Neptune. Similar story that Mars just did. Now the sun is up to some interesting developments. It's one story in multiple parts. The sun rules your career gains house, your social groups and social networks. And the sun will square Saturn in the work and debt house. Anything going on here to do with a sibling as well, especially one younger, and struggles over debts, indebtedness, and maybe even involving matters to do with decisions you need to make regarding opportunities in career connected to your local environment. So Jupiter's bringing you opportunities from the past in your career, like a job that you used to have or a role that you wanted to go back to, or things like that. But there's a holdup. Writing. Are you a writer? Are you trying to finish some writing projects? Are you a marketer, seller? There's going to be some block energy coming here because the sun is part of your professional 11th house. So there's a blockage going on. And there could be a blockage around siblings in general as well. And the block is Saturn. And Saturn is like, whoa, slow down, guys. And Saturn is strong and determined not to waste your time. Don't waste your time on something here. Think about whether or not it's a true opportunity, especially if it regards professional endeavors, especially if it regards travel, and especially if it regards expenses. And then when the sun also hits up, Neptune on the 20th, 21st, it's literally going to help you shine a light, like a flashlight, into a fog bank to see what's actually there. Mars tried to clear and defog already. Now the sun has got a flashlight to see what's actually there. If you have a health challenge, especially if it's running in the family, it's other siblings have it, or anything like that, or you injured yourself, because I told you to be careful not to injure yourself, especially a car injury. earlier in the month, and I gave you the date of December 8th and 9th. Now you're looking at the flashlight to see what's really going on. Like, how do you fix the problem? What's going on with your feet or your hips, for example, or your nervous system? So I don't like this last week, 2 weeks of the month. I find that the mid-month onward is filled with squares, right? So that's going to be a difficult month for you and for the world. It's more challenging in some way. Don't get depressed about it. We're all going to go through it. Sun will then square Neptune. Again, the flashlight to see what you're not seeing. Just as we get ready for that, there's a moon here. The moon is brand new, fresh and spanking new at 28 degrees of Sagittarius. There's your warning, sirens. I don't know if you can hear them in the background, to drive safely in December. So new moon, new beginning, 28 degrees of Sagittarius, fresh start. Takes 6 months to unfold, but in the first 2 to 3 weeks after the December 19th lunation, you'll see evidence for it. It's embedded Venus right into the new beginning and fresh start. And what does Venus have to say about that? Well, she could bring you better health. She could bring you an increase of physical and mental and emotional well-being over the course of the months that follow. She's also really capable to exalt your workplace and bring you a really ideal work setting that you're really grateful and happy for, or exalt your pets, or exalt your debt situation and help you relieve your debt, and maybe debt relief from a sibling or something like that, or someone in your family of origin, childhood stories, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. And then also Venus is quite capable of bringing you some chunky money on a new beginning, new moon, because she's wedged right in there with Uranus there in the 8th house. You could have a surprise of an inheritance. I mentioned that coming out of the woodwork for you. And Venus will help try to bring that for you as well. If you're single looking for love, yes, why not? You could find a new relationship in a local neighborhood, online dating or travel or education, new beginnings and fresh starts. More likely to gel or cement into a real relationship when we get Mars into your 5th house. And that's not quite yet. So be patient. That's after January 23rd, but the seed has been planted for the possible new love story. And it could happen sometime after January 23rd from a seed planted on December 19th. There's stuff that could happen in the short term, like going on a date, but maybe getting more serious, right, by the 3rd week of January. And anything else I want to say about the new moon? It's got a Mercury sort of nearby, out of dignity. So if there is a new beginning in a relationship for singletons, or if you're with somebody and the new beginning is about travel or change of neighborhood, Mars can change your home over the course of his entire journey through the Capricorn sky. And he's in the Capricorn sky from, I said it before, December 15th to January 23rd. Could, for some of you, indicate a change of home to a new neighborhood. And the new moon is seeding the new neighborhood coming your way. Then finally, we end the month with Venus square Neptune and Mercury square Saturn. This is going to be Venus square Neptune, December 22, 23. Venus square Neptune, goddess of chunky money, goddess of your health and well-being, and if you're Libra sun, your career, she's going to square Neptune. It's all the same story in multiple iterations. Everyone's trying to dig underneath the illusory miasma of uncertainty, confusion, delusion, and rose-colored glasses to have you see clearly what's really there. So if it's about a love story, then, and especially if it's new and you're dating, then you're going to see something more clearly. If it's already existing, then you're going to see situations regarding your work, your health, and your pets more clearly. So Venus wants you to see what's true and real so that she can bring you pleasures that are lasting and satisfying, whether it's love or money pleasures or whatever. If a sibling owes you money, then you could be coming into a period of time, basically anytime between December 20th and the end of the month, where that sibling will try to repay the debt, okay? Or an extended relative repay the debt. And Mercury finishes up with a square to Saturn. Poor Saturn is getting so many squares this month ahead. It's like, okay, he says, I'm holding strong here. I've got it all together. I'm the wise one. I got sage-like real, and I'm resilient, and I'm determined, and I know what's what, and I got my act together. Anyway, as we get really closer to the 30th, he really does have to deal with Mercury. Mercury is like communication is hard, communication is strained, communication is challenging in regards to your communicating with your childhood friends, your neighbors, your siblings, your extended family. That's where communicate your boss and colleagues, coworkers, or employees. There's a difficult communication energy. Things are strained around December 30th. Be careful for your health if you're going to do any kind of thing in the local environment on New Year's Eve kind of vibe. That's where you're going to, again, you finally healed the foot from the car accident, and now you're actually working, or your hips, and now you're actually working on another redo because you decided to socialize Mercury in the third house. Close to New Year's Eve, party too hard, and here you are again, tripping up yourself on your body. So keep that in mind. That's something I would advise you to be cautious of, although you could get some difficult news regarding a sibling or a job situation. All right, now, the last thing I'm going to say is, see the Venus and the Sun and Mars down in your fourth house. What is that doing there? That's going to be amazing. In January, you must subscribe. I'm not going to bribe you. You must subscribe. You don't want to miss this because there's going to be a very decades rare event with Mars there, as well as Venus every 4 years now, connecting with the Sun in a superior conjunction this time. So Venus is resetting your fourth house. Mars is. It's going to make massive changes to do with home, property, land, and real estate for every single Libra over the next 2 years for Mars and 1 year for Venus. There's changes down below in the bottom of your sky. It's powerful, it's significant, and it's exciting. And I can't wait to talk about it for you in January. So please subscribe so you don't miss those videos that are coming out about these game-changing transits of 2026. Don't forget to like, subscribe, maybe buy my bundle, fundraiser. You'll lose the price on December 1st, delivered to your inbox on December 1st. Not yet. I'm producing that content all through November. And it takes a lot of time because I'm putting my love, my heart, and my presence. So I can deliver you a 2-hour video, but it takes me 3 hours to record. So please honor the time that I put into it. And the price point is stupidly low. Okay. $44 for 12 signs, 24 hours of content. I don't know. I always price it low so people are not priced out, right? Because I know I've had economic hardship, guys. I've been in situations where I have scraping the bottom of my financial barrel, at times in my life. So I don't want people to have to feel like it's unaffordable. So hopefully you guys will grab that. Take care. I'll see you in the next videos.